is counting down. All right. I am so excited today. Give me a second. I want to make sure that this is streaming. And it looks like we're in action. Awesome. So we're live officially on Facebook right now. Not Facebook, but on YouTube. Well, this is going to be the very first time that this is occurring, going live. Going to make this into a podcast for the Green Eyed Ambition platform as well as the Business on the Roads. I am super excited about this today because I have been saying I want to do this type of stuff and been so scared to do it. And now this is the day with a really good friend, Miss Erica, and this is going to be for those of you that do not know who I am. My name is Jessie Gary. I am the founder of Green Eyed Ambition and Lux Giving. I specifically like to help entrepreneurs that are in the food and event space with being able to streamline their businesses, to understand the importance of having solid back office practices so that they can grow their business to multiple six figures and build a business that they truly love and dream of. And I am so excited because I have a tax strategist, Miss Erica. Erica. And I'm going to let y'all know first off, we're going to definitely try to keep this to 45 minutes. But usually, when both Erica and myself, we talk, but we're going to
We
make
talk.
sure we talk. We love talking to each other. But this is going to be great because I want for everyone to be able to truly get something helpful and impactful. If you are finding yourself stuck on what to do with your finances, you're a small business, and I feel that at times it can be daunting on where to start, where to find information. A lot of times, the people in our circles are doing things illegally and not knowing it, and they're telling you to do these things. So, there are a ton of common mistakes. But today, I have Erica, and we're going to get into it. So, Erica, thank you so very much for being a yes today.
Yay. I'm so excited to be here. And I'm so happy that I connected with you. And just to be here as you just launched this new series. I definitely admire your hard work and your execution, because so many people can have ideas. And I think just being a business owner in general, we all have like big ideas. We all want to be in control of our money and learn how to make our own money. And I think that coming from a tax perspective, that's just when a lot of people do make mistakes because it's like we're more so about the product and more so about it has to be creative and fancy and this and that. And those things are fine, but we're not about to play with the IRS. We're not going to do that.
Because the IRS finds out everything.
We're just not gonna do that. But yeah, as she stated, my name's Erica. I have a strong background in economic development. I am super, super passionate just about the financial health of small business owners. I am super big on tax compliance because although we have all these big ideas and we want to do everything, there are like a few things we just need to get into place. Like you cannot overlook your bookkeeping, you cannot overlook your expenses, or even overlook your income by any means.
Yes, it's a very important topic. And real quick too, for anyone that is going to be watching this recording, you want to make sure that you do like and subscribe to this channel because I'm going to be making sure I have other powerful conversations that can help you with growing your business and help you with actually having a solid foundation. Because there can be a lot of information that's out there that kind of romanticizes what it's like to be an entrepreneur. I am truly one that's like, let's move the curtain. Let's really have honest conversations about what's going on and let's get into it. So definitely make sure you click the follow and leave a comment, and we will definitely respond back. So thank you so very much. And like, I would love to just jump into it. In your opinion, what is the number one that people make when it comes to bookkeeping within their business?
Oh my gosh. So the biggest one that literally just comes to my head is that people don't do bookkeeping. They don't track. They just don't track. And not to shame anyone, because we're all trying, we're all learning. But some people simply don't track. Like if you were to ask a business owner, well, what was your operating costs this year? I mean, people might not know the exact number, but in my opinion, I think everyone should understand the ballpark of how much money does it take just for your business to operate in general, and that's where your expenses come into play. But the number one thing that to even understand that, you just have to track. I don't care if you write down on a piece of paper. Just get started and know something about your numbers.
I agree. And that was probably like my very first lesson that I learned in entrepreneurship. I was a ravishing 19, no, 20-year-old. I was 20 years old and I was modeling. For those of you that don't know that side of my life, I started modeling when I was in college. I was happy getting checks and then not realizing that the agency doesn't take out any taxes. So I went to go and file my taxes because, of course, most companies, when they pay you, they are going to say that they paid you and they're going to give you a 1099. I got my 1099 and I have been, let's just say, owing taxes every year since college because of the fact that I have always had some kind of job. And sometimes it would offset or break even, but like taxes expecting a refund. Like tax season doesn't come around. I'm like, yay! I'm excited. Um, but I had to learn like what do you keep track of? Like I had to learn to keep track of my mileage. And I think that what happens is because we often can get so busy that we don't realize the implications of not keeping track of your information.
Yeah, and I think that one of the first steps that I even recommend just to get started is, I said this earlier, but learning like what is your operating cost? And simply your operating cost is just knowing what are those expenses that you need in order for your business to run. So, like every business owner, most of us, we have to have some sort of like emailing account. We have to have some sort of website. We have to have some sort of app that's tracking our expenses, but we have these standard operating costs, and that's a really really good first place to start for a beginner. It's super easy. Just write it down. Even I did that when I first started my business. I was like, okay, well, let me at least understand how much money is it going to take for me to even start a business.
Mhm.
You have so much startup expenses and upfront costs before you can even get going, from like licenses and certificates and specific trainings. I know we talked about this before, just in the food industry, about getting certain licenses for that. Like you can cook in your home, but come on, get a license, get something. You know more about that than I do, but
Yeah, no, but it's very true because the thing about it is that, like, I had even talked about self-employed, so I will make sure to have that in the show notes for those of you that are like, it's like, again, maybe you're not good with paper. I get that. Everyone has a different way that works best for them. I have been starting to use the QuickBooks Self-Employed app because it has the mileage tracker. And since I'm doing this year on the road, digital nomad life, I don't want to miss a mile of deduction. So I love the fact that you can have it right there on your phone. It is $9 a month, so that every time my vehicle is moving, it will start to track my miles. I have like accumulated, I think, over $200 of deductions and miles in my first month because of the amount of mileage.
wow. And even to add to that, like I know for this year, for what year are we in? 2021. That's time is so spacey to me sometimes. We're in 2021. But I believe for this year you get like 56 cents back on every mile. So that's roughly a little bit over 50%. So if you drive 1,000 miles, expect somewhere between like a five between $600 um write off. And those are like easy deductions that some people miss out on because we all drive places. You have to
Yeah.
go to the store to pick up supplies. You have to go drop your packages off. So those are like little things that you can do to make sure that you're getting the most bang for your buck.
I agree, and I think too, it sometimes can be that the thing when you're not tracking the things that you think that are not deductible can often like slip your mind. Like I'm going when I go to my co-work space round trip is 40 miles.
Wow, that's intense. That's
Well,
a
it's
lot of
smooth driving. It's like 30 minutes. I mean, it's round trip. So it's like
miles.
15 miles each way.
Hmm.
So it's like 30 minutes each way.
Hmm.
So think about it. Like for someone, if you're not keeping track of it, you may forget, like, oh, I had to go to this appointment real quick. Like,
Hmm.
and so if you have something that's on your cell phone, when you're looking at your number, like at your logs, you're like, oh, I forgot. Like you'll find yourself in a position where if you do link up your bank accounts, you'll get notifications that these other charges have gone through instead of you like, oh, I don't remember where I put that receipt, this, that, and the other, and it makes it so much more smoother for people.
And the beautiful thing, well, two things I really want to share as it relates to mileage and vehicle expenses. So, something that I don't even think like most business owners realize, and that's completely fine. That's why you hire someone that's knowledgeable in the tax industry. But when I am preparing people's taxes, as it relates to mileage in particular, there's a question on the tax form that says, does this person have record of the mileage that they are claiming? And so most people, they don't have no record. Even if you just have like some sort of documentation of like, I went to this store, so it has a address on a receipt, but that's a question on a tax form. And for some people, I have to say no. I ask them, I have to be honest.
Yeah.
But that's a question on there that say, is there record of this mileage that you are claiming? And then the on the positive end, as it relates to tracking miles, is that so there's two different types of deductions that a business owner can take as it relates to their vehicle. So it's like you can take a standard deduction, which is the mileage, and then or you can take like the actual deduction, which is the amount of expenses that you may put into your car. For example, like gas, tune-ups, oil, a car wash, as long as it's your business vehicle. And what happens at the end of tax season is, as a tax preparer, I can look at these numbers and compare and say, okay, which number is the highest? Are they getting the highest deduction based off their mileage, or are they getting the highest deduction based off their actual vehicle expenses? So I think that's like a really good perk because as a person that owes, and if you are on taxes, like that's a good strategy to where you can have the option of, okay, let me pick which one is going to give me the biggest deduction for my car.
Yes, I love that. And so, everyone, the first common mistake, don't fall victim to this. There are ways to be able to stay on top of it. And like I said, I'll make sure I put the link for you to do QuickBooks Self Employed. It's affordable, believe me. And the thing is that $9 a month, you can then deduct that too. So it's
Mm-hmm.
helping you to stay on top of your deductions and is also a deduction for your business. So
Mm-hmm.
that is something for people to go ahead and learn and listen to. And if you have never used QuickBooks or anything like that with the recording, please comment below because I would love to hear from you. Like, what are you using to keep track of that? All
Mm-hmm.
right, so let's get into the second common mistake that you find that people make when it comes to business finances.
Um, okay. As a business owner, you should not be doing your own taxes. Oh my gosh, you should not be doing your own taxes at all. Like that's when the line just completely stops because every single year tax law changes. And even I myself, as a tax strategist, I have like a portion, I have a month of time dedicated to staying up to date on what the actual laws are because they change completely. And as a business owner, and if you're whatever space you're in, why should it be your job to stay knowledgeable um, on those sort of things? And I understand when people want to cut money and save money, but you need to learn how to save money in the right spaces. And my recommendations is you never cut money with someone that's like in the financial world, whether if it's an accountant, a CPA, a tax strategist. You never cut money with a lawyer. When it comes to contracts, of course, you may want to find like the best deal. And anything else that just relates to like that legal side of business, if you have to get certain certificates or trainings or whatever it is, like pay the money that you need so it can be done right. Because if your taxes are not done appropriately, you can get audited and then you start owing so much more money. I mean, you'll be surprised the number of people that ask me, or they'll tell me that they're a business owner and they would say, do you have to do my taxes? And I tell them, I was like, no, I don't, but I recommend that you do have a professional to do your taxes, because now that you're in this space of being a legit business owner, you're audited differently. The chances of you getting an audit is way higher because so many people like finagle their expenses, or they even put things down in the wrong categories of where they should go versus saying this is a supply or this is an office expense. Two completely different categories. So with the clients that I work with, it's my job for me to look at their line items and see, okay, where does this actually go, to make sure that it's in alignment with what the actual tax laws are.
And I think that's so valuable. And it was because, too, when I decided that I was going to do the journey on the road, a year of digital like travel, I was like, okay, like what are some things I really should know so that I go out and make sure that I am actually keeping track of the things that I really need to keep track of. I think that sometimes when we're running a business, when we're looking to cut corners, we're not understanding that things can actually cost us more in the long run than in that short term interim. I am big on making sure that your pricing is correct and structured. So if you're not able to start putting money to the side, at least for those business things, like I know that because with my company, I typically will get like 30 plus 1099s from all of my clients because each one of my customers sends me a 1099 with event planning. So I don't even try. Like I tried once and I was like, I don't choose this. Here's this $800. Make this all right. And I'm pretty organized. So some people they charge based off of how in depth it is, how much work is going to be on their end. I am typically the type of person that keeps everything nicely organized. I can give you printouts because I know that the more work it requires of a tax professional, it costs more. So like that is also an incentive to not just come to someone's office with a bag full of receipts and say, fix this, because you're going to be paying for them to fix it when you could have just kept track of it.
Yeah, and there's so much technology that we can use to help just keep us organized. Like even with one of my business bank accounts, I don't know if they just added this feature because I just realized it. Like they are categorizing expenses. Like I can drop down and select which category it's supposed to go in. And that's new because that's not on my regular bank account. So there's no reason that as a business owner you don't understand your expenses or at least know what's happening on a monthly basis. Um, and somebody shared this with me yesterday. I'm not gonna like say it as profound as they did, but they said the because we have like ignorance of the law, like ignorance of the tax law, like that's our responsibility. Like the way that the government and the IRS stands as it pertains to taxes, they're like, okay, you're a business owner, so you should already know everything. Like they're gonna hold you accountable, even if you don't know. They're not gonna say, "Oh, nobody taught you not how to not
They
how to
don't
do
care.
this." They don't care. They just be like, "You should have went on the IRS website and read that 50 million page book, and you
That was
should know."
confusing.
Right? Oh my gosh, it's so thick. But yeah, um, there's certain expenses you cannot cut, and I meet a lot of business owners where I'm okay with like sharing all like the knowledge and information that I have because the kind of person I am, like I really want you to get it. But imagine coming to someone top of the year and you're like, okay, can you categorize my expenses? That's 12 months of bank statements. Now, it's definitely doable. I have an extra fee for something like that. But imagine if you did that on a monthly basis just to start off. That would save so much time. It would save you so much, even so much money as a business owner. And you just have the understanding of knowing, okay, this is where I'm spending my money. Like I had one client, um, and we went through their expenses. She didn't even realize how much money she was spending on food. She was just like, oh my gosh, I didn't save no money this month because it all went to food. Like eating good, steaks, eating good. But it's beneficial. It's so many benefits and just understanding your numbers. And I think one thing like Jesse, I really appreciate about you and just your presence online is like you are very transparent. Like on the financial side of things. And I'm like, ah, yes. And I think we all should be that way because at the end of the day, although we're all in different lanes, we're all running the same race. We're all trying to get to whatever that peak point is within ourselves. And it's important to understand like how does this work? How does this business world um even work?
Yeah. I think and I think too, if people really and like what happens is that when you do have conversations with people with tax, like with don't feel embarrassed because I had to learn a lot along the way. I am still not an arrival because like as your business starts to bring in more money, as you start to have more things you have to now deduct, I am like interested in seeing what upcoming years are going to look like even for myself. Like, and I think what happens is that often because we're not seeing people have the conversation, or it's because people don't even know about the conversation. And that's why I thought with this, my first live, I had to do it with you because something that I often even see people on Instagram and different platforms where they're not keeping track of things, and it can be the biggest misperception to act like you're not making money so that you don't pay taxes and not understand that that type of stuff can backfire. I mean, even with deductions, there's even such a thing as too many deductions because until you like I had ran into that when my company was making money, and I'm type person, if I can't travel and write it off, if I can't do this and write it off, I ain't doing it. But when when everything you do is a tax deduction, down trying to go rent an apartment and they're like, well, you're not making no money, your company I was like, oh, that didn't work well. Like
Yeah. Oh, people, and that's the other reason, not another reason, but another thing. We talked about this before, even as it relates to traveling, because the line items on a tax form, there's specific lines for traveling. And given that you have this whole year of travel, we already know that's going to be a ginormous bucket. We
yes.
know it's going to be a ginormous bucket. But the way to decrease the chances of an audit is there's certain forms you can submit and it say, hey, this is what I did in my business this year as it relates to this line item. So now y'all don't have to call and question me, ask me what this is. I already have the documentation. And that just goes back to another reason of don't cut the cost of having like someone in the financial world to help you out as a business owner. Because when things start to get extreme on that end, like there's not always a solution for everything, but I was about to say there's not a solution for everything, but there is a solution for everything. There's a strategy for everything. That's it. There's a strategy, and how things can be moved to make it work.
Yes, no, I agree. I agree. So thank you for the number two biggest and common mistake that people make when it comes to small business finance. I would love to hear what is the third most common mistake that you find people make?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't know if we said this already. Um, there's a couple different things, but I'm picking my favorite one. Some people don't want to report certain income. And the reason why I say this is a very, very big mistake, number one, we live in a digital world, and people think that you can get around things. And I will be completely, completely transparent. There are so many legal strategies to save money on taxes. There are 50 million legal strategies to like save money on taxes. Like I have a tax book that's probably over 1,000 pages long, and it talks about how not to pay taxes. Like it's every single law. There are legal strategies. And when I mean reporting income is for reporting income, and also in those digital spaces, is that some people use Cash App, some people use PayPal, some people use Stripe, Square. People are using like FanDuel, like the trading platform, and people don't realize that they report your income to the IRS. If you make over a certain amount of money, they report it to the IRS. And I've had tons of clients that get bills in the mail, where the interest rate has increased on what they owe because they didn't want to report their income from Cash App or report it from Square or wherever it came from, but they don't want to report it, but they gonna send your income to the
I was like,
IRS.
I could have sworn that I have Square and Stripe. I'm like, and PayPal. I'm like, they all send you tax forms. I'm like, they don't even let you set up your account without a social security card or a business
Hmm.
ID.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's not the
That's
wisest
the
move.
thing. And I don't know. I understand what it is, and if you use a third party app, let us know what third party app you're using. But every third party app has some clauses in there. And for some apps, it's like if you make over $20,000, they'll report it to the IRS, or if you make over 600, or if you have over a certain number of transactions. But this all goes back to just because you're ignorant of the law, they don't they don't care. They just want to get their interest. They just want to get their money and call it a day. Like when it comes to the IRS and when it comes to the government, they're not gonna hold your hand or pat your hand on the back. But that money is going to be sent off to how much you made. So it's just important to do things in order and in decency as it relates to just your financial health overall, because the only way you can really get to the top, or whatever you equate the top to, the only way you can get there is understanding your numbers, is having a strong financial um, foundation as a business owner.
No, I agree. I think that that's something that I really wish that we had people have more conversations about, because I think some of it's intentional, and I do think some of it is unintentional.
Hmm.
Like I know that especially in the world of event planning and catering and things of that nature and just entertainment, it's been times when people don't want for me to report that I paid them. I was like, well, I am reporting my expenses because I need that deduction. So what you do on your end is totally up to you, but I know what I have to do on my end, so I am not paying for income that I did not keep, but I gave to
Hmm.
you. So I think that it's really important to understand that, especially when you're looking to work with larger clients, most of them are always going to give you a receipt. They're almost always going to report that they paid you. You just don't want to put yourself in a position that you're trying to hide money in a situation that it ends up costing you more at the end of the day. I think
Mhm.
that it's going to do you a big disservice, to actually operate that way. And it probably even cause some anxiety and tension when it comes to having those conversations, because we don't realize how your taxes plays a part in you buying cars, buying houses, getting credit cards, all of that stuff plays a part. So not showing that you're making money, it can actually not only implicate you taxes, but it implicates you with your personal life as well.
Yeah, and that's so important as well, as business owners. So many thoughts, you like triggered so many good thoughts in my head. I can't remember the number exactly, but I believe the law is within the last 5 consecutive years of being a business owner, you have to show some sort of income within 3 out of those 5 years, or it's either 3 out of those 5 years or 2 out of those 5 years. I can't remember if it's 3 or 5. But if you don't show no income, they're going to consider your business a hobby and you will get shut down. So again, going back to have someone that's like knowledgeable to understand the laws and everything that's in place as a business owner. And I get it. Like I understand, like with some of my clients, they want to know that they can trust you. Like they want to know that they can be honest with you, because there are so many people that just get over on people in the tax world because you have access to their information. And I would even suggest as a business owner, to do your due diligence as a business owner. If you want to interview someone, interview an accountant, interview a tax preparer, like you don't have to set it up and say like, "Hey, I'm interviewing you," but do your due diligence because that's your information. That's personal to you, and find somebody that you can connect with, because when it comes to our expenses, it's like I'm seeing how you live your life. I'm
Yeah.
not judging you by any means, but I'm seeing how you live your life because I need to see your expenses so I can understand the strategies that I need to do to help you out. So, for example, I shared this with you before, Jesse. So there is a tax credit, and it's called it's the research and development tax credit, and that tax credit is for business owners who decide to improve any process of their business. So, for example, even like this whole journey that you're going on, like you could get a 20% tax deduction just off of that. And the way that works, I'll break it down even more. So, let's say, for example, if you owe $10,000 in taxes, while who's ever filing them, and then you have this research and development tax credit, which is 20%. 20% of 10,000 is 2,000.
Yeah.
So the 10,000 minus 2,000. So now you only owe $8,000. So, but it's like to get that research and development tax credit, there's like certain paperwork and documentation that you want to have in order to make sure that you are like legitimately trying to improve the processes of your business.
Wow. See, for anybody is watching, let's stop doing, what did people do, the, I'm not going to say any names, but let's stop doing, because I forgot we're going live on YouTube. Don't want to start my YouTube live streaming off on a slander case.
No.
So but one of the things that I would just say, like, that is so powerful to like know that this is why it's beneficial to have conversations and actually like talk to someone that can help you of understanding what you don't know. And it's okay that you don't know. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no shame. The thing is that it just means having the courage to come to someone to say, I really don't know. I want to do better with my taxes. I want to do better with keeping track of this stuff. What do I need to do as far as my beginning steps? And this is why Erica actually is releasing a ebook, which I'm super excited about. And I will make sure I have the link in the show note once it's available because we are going to do pre-sale on this, and I would love for you to tell people like that process.
Yeah, so this ebook, which is actually my first ebook that I'm putting out in the world, um, it's talking about how to document your travel appropriately for business. So, as business owners, I mean, let's be real. We see so many, even tax preparers and just regular business owners where they're posting like, "Oh, I'm writing this off. I'm writing this off. I'm writing this off." But how are you writing it off? How are you documenting it? How are you categorizing it? So my first ebook that I'm putting out there, it'll have every single thing as a business owner that you need in order to write off your business trip. Okay? Because
Yes.
first off, Jesse said this earlier. If I cannot make it a business expense, I'm not going. If I cannot make it a business trip, I am not going. So even for me, I actually just took a trip a few weeks ago. I went to Texas, and so I said, "Hey, while I'm here, let me at least go check out something related to accounting. Let me go see if I can meet with someone. Let me go see if I can just learn something new related in this like world of financial industry because." We're all growing and we're all learning. So that ebook will have just a list of everything. It'll have everything, every single little thing broken down for you to know how to properly write off your business trips, but also how to properly document them. One thing about me, I feel like at heart I am an educator. And that's why I love this space because there's so many things to learn and so many things to teach people. And so when I really want y'all to get this. Like, I really want y'all to get this. So if you all have traveled anywhere just in 2021, or taken any business trips, put it in the comments below. We would love to know where you're going, or if you went to any business conferences, which is common amongst every single industry. We would love to know where you went.
I think this is phenomenal because especially in the food and event space, like I have all of these celebrity private chefs that are being travel the world, and I can come to you to do this experience. I thought this would be so helpful for people to understand, like, how do you do this in a way that it is actually helping to benefit your business, and then how to do it correctly. So thank you so very much for like creating this ebook and just being such a wealth of knowledge. I am grateful. I
You
am,
are a wealth of knowledge. Oh my gosh, you're a wealth of knowledge. I'll give you all the thumbs up and stars that's possible.
well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I look forward to just everything that's in store for you and your business. And I would like for you to share with people that are listening, because this will be also made into a podcast. How can they get in contact with you in the future?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram. My name is The Creatives Tax Company. Um, And you can also follow one of my new business ventures that I am launching. The name of the company is called Barter E. You can find that on Instagram. It's called Trade with Barter E. And the purpose of that business is specifically to connect entrepreneurs from around the world so we can trade our skills and services with one another so we can save money. So that's how you're going to cut some money is when you use that platform. So yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at the Creatives Tax Company.
Awesome. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed this and you were able to learn something from our conversation. Please message us or tag us on Instagram so that we know that you were able to benefit from it, or send us a DM because we are here to support other entrepreneurs that are looking to take their business. Thank you again, Erica, for always being a yes. I'm so grateful for your friendship and just holding on.
Thank you. Same here.
All righty.